that always happens in a house. There's like, sounds, the lights flicker, like you're not really sure. It's usually the wind, but like it doesn't really sound like it, and it kind of freaks you out. And um, so yeah, that it was fun to
Yeah.
play with that as a character.
Now that is also great indie filmmaking advice. Save on your VFX budget, save on your extras by getting an actual haunted house. That's perfect. Then,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass. Today I'm talking to Rachel Michiko Whitney, the star of Snow Valley, which is coming to digital on March 26, 2024. I'm going to talk to her right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also, a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Rachel Michiko Whitney, the star of Snow Valley, which is coming to digital on March 26, 2024. It is an indie horror thriller that has some really great atmosphere, some wonderful music, and a fun cast of characters. Rachel is one of them. It is coming to digital, like I said, on March 26, 2024. I am very excited to talk to you. So thanks so much for joining me.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, first question, like, how did you get involved in this movie? How did this come across your desk?
So, we filmed this movie 3 years ago, and prior to that, August 2020, I was having a conversation with my friend about how, maybe we can like try and find a play that we could film because oftentimes plays have fewer locations and fewer actors. And my friend suggested that we ask our other friend, Brandon Murphy, if he'd be interested in writing a script from scratch and then being able to direct it. Because up until that point, Brandon had made a living as a screenwriter for 10 years, and he had always wanted to direct. And so this seemed like a great opportunity. And so we called Brandon up out of the blue, and he was on his way to New Orleans, and we pitched him the idea, and he was in. He was like, I literally have nothing to do in New Orleans, so this is perfect.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. Although I question if you have nothing to do in New Orleans, that is an interesting take. There's always something to do there, right? But
Yeah, although it was like the height of the pandemic, so I think
ah,
everything was kind of shut down. And although I don't know what New Orleans was like August 2020, but yeah, so he started writing it then, and we were on a group chat, and we just sort of developed the idea, and Brandon wrote it, and then we started filming March 22nd, 2021.
wow. So still, so past like the brunt of the pandemic, but still kind of in the throes of it. So that makes sense. This does feel like a perfect pandemic movie. You get to go to like an isolated place. There aren't a ton of
Yeah.
characters. It is kind of the right recipe for it.
Yeah, it was kind of like being at summer camp. It was really, really a gift and a beautiful thing to come out of a very scary time. And yeah, at that time we had to have a COVID compliance officer. And actually, one of the days that we filmed was April 1st. And so every morning we had to check in with the COVID compliance officer. And so that morning, um, Connor, our COVID compliance officer, was like, "How you doing today, Rachel?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I kind of lost my sense of taste, but I think it's fine."
Oh
And
gosh.
but like I thought I was being obvious that I was making a joke, and he looked at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, that was it's April Fool's Day." And he was like, "Rachel, that is not funny. Don't do that." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. It's COVID. I'm taking this seriously. It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm sorry."
There are
Um,
no jokes during COVID, but that
no,
is
no jokes
fantastic. That
during
is
COVID.
one.
Yeah, I felt so bad because like yeah, it was like if someone got COVID, like your movie was done. You had to like shut down. So that was not a funny joke that I made.
But we
Yeah.
can laugh about it now. So
Yeah, we
there
can laugh about it now.
we
Yeah.
go. So, you kind of, it sounds like you and someone else or some other people came up with the kind of the idea of this. I do like that your idea was we should go to this wonderful, like, snow chalet in the mountains. Like that, if I'm going to plan a horror movie, that is a great, spot to go to and a great place for you all to have a little vacation. So, I was going to ask, like, did you know you were going to go to this beautiful location when you were filming it? But it sounds like you did.
Yeah, yeah. And it was nice to be in the mountains, and the weather around that time was it was still kind of snowy when we got there, and um but it was also kind of nice because it was the end of the ski season, so there were fewer people, I think, on the mountain, and which made it a little bit easier for us. But yeah, the house definitely plays a big, it's a character itself, and that always happens in a house. There's like sounds, the lights flicker, like you're not really sure. It's usually the wind, but like it doesn't really sound like it, and it kind of freaks you out. And um, so yeah, that it was fun to
Yeah.
play with that as a character.
No, that is also great indie filmmaking advice. Save on your VFX budget, save on your extras by getting an actual haunted house. That's perfect. Then,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah. And actually, what's so crazy is after we filmed, we drove through this town called Helper, Utah, and we went into a museum that they had in this very small town. And we're walking through this museum, and there was an old newspaper article that was pretty much exactly the newspaper that our production designer made for the mining explosion that happened. And so that was a little like kind of crazy that like, oh yeah, this actually happened. There was a mining explosion and everyone died. Um, so yeah,
That
that
is,
that
yeah,
happened back.
that is scary that, that is the basis for this horror movie and also apparently real life. Maybe he could
Yes.
have made a little board of all of you like winning the lotto and see if that happens. Maybe you should have that happen
Oh
next.
yeah, that would be nice. Next
Yeah.
next one.
So, you said that the house was a character, but there were also some really fun characters in this. I have to ask, how did Barbara Crampton get involved, and what was it like working with her? Because she is just horror royalty. That must have been amazing.
Yes. So our casting director sent her the script and she loved the script, and she met with Brandon and she came on board, and it was amazing. I mean, I think it always starts with the story and the script, and Brandon wrote an amazing script, and that's sort of how everything came together because people just fell in love with the script, and it's fun and it's scary, it's so unexpected, you never know what's going to happen next. And so that's how we got Barbara, and yeah, I mean, it was incredible. She's a horror icon, and she was so lovely to work with, and she's so sweet, and we had a really fun time with her. So
Yeah, that is an awesome memory. Speaking of kind of the script going places that you don't really know, Tom's character was just all sorts of X factor. Like, what was it like working with him? Like, is that his natural personality, or was he just really into this Ed character? Like everything that came out of his mouth. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I loved everything.
yeah, yeah, no, this was very different from what he had done before. And actually, so he and David had worked on a TV show, The Fosters, together. And that was like an ABC family show. So this was a complete 180 from that. And um Ed, I mean, Ed was Brandon created Ed, but Tom brought another level to it. And Brandon was so open to Tom's thoughts as Ed, and let him kind of improvise some things and try some things out. But Brandon had that vision for like how he's dressed, and both in the beginning and the end, and what he's wearing, and just yeah, his whole demeanor. And it was so fun to see Tom bring Ed to life on set.
For sure. And this also was a family affair because your actual sister played your sister in the movie. Did you plan that? Like, were you both involved in the planning of this, or were you just like did you just get her on board because like, hey, I got a sister, you can play the scene. How did that happen?
Yeah, Brandon had written a sister character for Laura. Her name is Kiko in the movie, and yeah, my sister is also an actress, and so we sent her the script and asked if she would be interested in playing this really funny part, and she was in. And so yeah, though it was kind of the first time that we really worked together, and it's funny when are in this other world playing uh these characters when opposite someone that you have known since you were, you know, a kid. So
Yeah, you're
yeah.
you're making a like family dynamic when you already have a family dynamic, and you have to like create this alternate one that
Yes.
feels real, but also
Yes.
is probably strange for you, given that you know
Yes.
each other. And it's
Yes.
that's weird that you have never like this is your first project. You're both actors, like that's kind of surprising. But hey, maybe it's the start of future things.
Yeah. I mean, besides the home videos we made as kids growing up, this was, which, you know, were pretty funny, but this is like, yeah, the first actual thing that we did.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that this project brought that out. And then, you know, your main, I guess, co-star Casper, had you worked with him before? And what was it like? You know, did you have some time to establish a rapport before? Or I know indie filmmaking is basically you have not enough time and not enough money. So did you just jump in and you're like, hey, you're gonna have a romantic snow chalet that might go bad. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very much indie filmmaking where, you know, it was we didn't have a ton of time, but Cooper and I first met over Zoom, and it was great meeting him. Uh, and then we did a Zoom session with Brandon as well, and it was great. I mean, Cooper was so great to work with, and so it worked out really well. Um, and yeah, we did, so we worked with Brandon a little bit, but we didn't really have like time to rehearse or anything like that. It was kind of just like straight to it.
That is awesome. And so one of the things I was impressed with is you had this like ski snowboarding scene, which I think I imagine you didn't have the budget for stunt doubles, so you were both doing it. Was that
Yeah.
something that you had to practice, or did you both grow up on the slopes and that scene was just easy to film?
Yeah, that was really fun to do. We went to Park City for the day and filmed. And I actually, I grew up on the East Coast, and I was on the ski team in high school. So I did have that experience skiing, and uh, I will say West Coast snow is definitely better than East Coast snow. Um, but but yeah, I had skied before, and it was fun to be able to like have a work day where you're skiing and snowboarding, and yeah.
There you go. She's gonna start some beef on this show. West Coast versus East Coast. Let's go.
I know. I love both. That's the thing. I do love both, but I feel like there's no argument there. I do think West Coast snow is definitely better than East Coast snow.
I think you know I've been on both coasts. I think that I can support that as well.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
it does make sense also that you grew up on the East Coast, so you skied, whereas Cooper probably well, he had the snowboard for his character, but he probably also snowboarded before. So,
Yes. Yes, he had. Yeah. Yeah.
and so you said that this was filmed in like 2021. How much time did you actually have to film this?
We filmed this in 15 days. So,
That's wow.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
is indie film. That's like 2 weeks. That's insane.
Yeah. No, it was very efficient too, in a way. Like we just kind of Brandon, you know, he was great. He like we just moved on to the next scene. There wasn't any like we had a stunt coordinator for like the golf club that's swinging and axe stuff, and our stunt coordinator was like, I have never been on an indie film set that has been run this smoothly before. He was like shocked that we were somehow keeping the train going. So yeah,
That's
15 days.
That's great to hear. And so, you know, one of the big things about this movie, this is Brandon's probably last movie, right? He passed,
Yes.
after filming, about a year after filming. What was that like? Was he able to kind of like do the post-production, or was this something that you and other people had to pick up to kind of see this project through and see his vision to the end?
It was not fully completed. He had um he did make a cut of it, and had worked with the composer and everyone, but um yeah, after he died January 2022, I stepped away from the film. I feel like I experienced real life horror,
Mhm.
and then I decided, you know, I wanted to come back to it and finish it to honor Brandon's memory and also to celebrate the work that the rest of the cast and the crew did because everyone showed up and they dedicated their time and their craft and so I wanted to see this through and I'm so happy. We had our premiere in LA last night and it was so amazing for the cast and the crew to finally see it after 3 years on a big screen in a theater with Brandon's family came into town and his friends and it was a wonderful audience. And so I'm happy that it'll finally be released into the world.
That is awesome. That's a great kind of like full circle for this. You were able to close it out, premiere it, get the work out there, get the project out there, and then have his friends and family there as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the movie. You can feel free to skip any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay.
First question. I think you already mentioned this. Are you a skier or a snowboarder? Do you have a preference? It's skier, right?
Skier. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a skier.
Ex-
I
Uh,
wouldn't be against snowboarding, but I grew up skiing and yeah.
why relearn how to ride the bicycle, right? You can already do it. Why risk it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this movie starts, with a proposal. Do you have like an ideal proposal, or maybe you've been proposed to? I don't know.
Ooh, do I have an ideal proposal? Um, that's such a great question. I've never thought about that. I just remember one time um I was in Rome at the Spanish Steps and this man came up to me and he was like, "I'm about to propose to my girlfriend. Can you please take photos of it?" And I was like, "Oh my God, that's okay, it's a lot of pressure." Like
That's
like capture that moment. Um, but it was really beautiful though at the top of the Spanish Steps in Rome. Actually my cousin just got engaged at the Northern Lights and that was really beautiful.
that is
So,
awesome. That sounds
yes.
perfect.
Yeah, some sort of beautiful location in nature, I think.
And the Northern Lights is risky because, A, they could say no, which is bad, but also the Northern Lights might not show up. And then you've got,
Yes,
that's a lot of
yes,
risk going in there.
they got lucky. Yeah.
Excellent. On both accounts. Perfect. So this movie has some stuff that is put in a safe. Do you have a safe that well, I don't know if you put valuables, but do you have a safe? Have you ever had a safe?
No, I don't. I've
That's
never
the
had.
right answer. You don't want to tell that to the internet that you might have a safe. So that is the right
Okay.
answer. Um, this movie had, the chalet had some old relics. There were mining relics in the film. Do you have any like old things that have either like significance to where you live or familial significance, some sort of like old relic that you have?
Ooh, not super old. I love I have a lot of friends who are artists, so over the years I've collected their art pieces and I hope to hold on to those for many, many years to come. Actually, um Brandon was also a painter, and so I have one of his paintings behind. There's a glare, but that's one of his paintings
Oh, I
back
do see it. That's awesome. That's
there.
perfect.
And yeah, so I guess I love when I get art from friends. I think there's something beautiful about that. So I always like to hold on to those.
For sure. I mean, it's both personal, beautiful, and who knows, right? If your friend gets big or is already big, then you've got, a valuable memento of them as well.
Yes, yes.
So the film has the characters going to a family house, a family vacation spot. Do you have like a family vacation spot that you go to? It doesn't have to be a place you own, but just a place that you've gone to regularly or went to regularly when you were younger.
Yeah, I grew up like I said, I grew up in New York, so every August we would go to the Jersey Shore because my dad grew up in New Jersey, so he grew up going to the Jersey Shore. Not like MTV, Jersey Shore Seaside, but
I was gonna
um
ask, where are all your tattoos, but
yeah, yeah. Um, like Bruce Springsteen, Jersey Shore vibes. And uh so I have a lot of memories I've been going literally since I was in my mom's stomach. So um, that's every year we go with family friends and friends. So that holds a very special place in my heart.
That sounds wonderful. And the last question, this film starts with an important pizza that is delivered. Do you have a favorite pizza spot? East Coast, West Coast, I'm not sure where it would be, but do you have a favorite pizza spot someplace that, I don't know, was childhood significance or significance now? I know it's tough to pick one, so
Yeah, I wish I did. I feel like New York had really good pizza. Um, Sometimes I'd walk around the city and just like, I don't know, you just like walk into that random place that just has like slices and they're really good because it's New York pizza, but I don't remember the names of them. And
it
I
was
will
probably
say,
it was probably
well,
Joe's or Sal's or
yeah, yeah,
Vinny's,
yeah,
all
yeah,
those.
yeah, something like that. But and I will say that when we wrapped one day, um, I ordered pizza for everyone, but I should not be in charge of ordering food for people because I never like know what people like. And someone said veggie pizza, so I was like, okay, veggie pizza, mushrooms and broccoli. And the pizza showed up, and everyone's like, "Why did you put broccoli on the pizza?" And I was like, "I don't know, it's a veggie."
Uh, You're
And
not wrong, but it's a good
yeah, I
question.
was like, I don't know. It was an option.
Yeah. Well,
So
at
yeah.
least you tried. That's the
I
important
did
part.
try. I did try, but people will never let me live that one down. That's okay.
And you deserve to not live that one down, but
Yeah.
you did try. So the film is Snow Valley. It's being released on March 26, 2024. You are out promoting the movie, but I imagine after people see Snow Valley, you probably have some other projects in line. So after they see you in this film, what can they look for next from you?
Um, I actually also acted in and produced a short film last year called Wabi Sabi, and it explores the mixed race experience, mixed Japanese, and the premise is a white guy takes me on a date to a Japanese tea ceremony, and he knows more about Japanese culture than I do. So it's kind of
Oh,
like,
awkward but interesting. I love it.
yeah, it's like a rom-com with a 70s samurai genre twist, and we're submitting that to festivals this year. So that's the next thing that I have.
Very cool. Well, excited to see that. Personally, very excited to see that for obvious reasons,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you can
yeah.
look for Wabi Sabi in the future. But first, check out Snow Valley. It's coming to digital on March 26, 2024. This is Rachel Michiko Whitney, the star of the film. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was Rachel Michiko Whitney, the star of Snow Valley, which is coming to digital on March 26, 2024. It is an indie horror movie that has a really great atmosphere, some crazy characters, and some wonderful music. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.